What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stream. A little bit earlier today. I got some stuff to do in a little while, so I figured I'd jump on here. I actually did 3 videos last night. One has still yet to been released. I had issues with YouTube. If you were watching the live stream from yesterday, I said I'm going to upload a video, in the next 45 minutes. For some reason, there was something going on with YouTube. They weren't processing videos or whatever. Like, the video was just sitting there waiting to be processed. And it just never went through, never processed. So, therefore, I could not release it. Finally, early this morning, I checked it. I think about 5 a.m. or whatever. It was finally processed through. I released 2 of them already today. So, if you haven't checked those out, check them out. One is actually doing very well. I did the Is the UFC deliberately favoring Dagestani fighters? I talked about all the recent matchups that got announced of unranked fighters against top-ranked guys. I did a UFC Vegas 73 main card predictions, which I would really appreciate if you went and checked out. It's not doing particularly great. I knew it wouldn't do particularly great, and also I've been slacking on doing it because of all the other news. And as soon as this stream is done, it's already uploaded, ready to go on the channel. I am releasing the real reason the BMF belt is on the line at UFC 291. If you've been in the Discord, I've posted videos of like behind the scenes clips of some of the videos that are going up. So you've seen some of it. This one is one of my favorite videos I ever did. Usually when I record a video, it's crazy. I'll record a video and then forget half the stuff I say in it after the fact. When I went through to edit this video today, because I didn't edit it, that one I didn't upload last night. I didn't edit it yet. So I had 2 of them really up. And I edited that one today, and I was listening through, and there were some golden lines. If you are a regular live stream watcher, there's probably about 65 inside jokes on that video. It's a great video. I hope it does very well because it's one of my favorite videos that I've done. But it's annoying. I had the Dagestani video and the Dern Hill video ready to go last night, and they just would not process through because YouTube is acting like a piece of shit, a little piece of shit. That's just the way it went. So I'll release that one at the end of this stream. I'm going to do an Alex Pereira Jan Blachowicz video probably tomorrow, I would say. And then Saturday, I'm probably not doing a live stream watch along, but there's basically the whole update. By the time, Saturday rolls around, I don't think I'm going to want to do a live stream watch long. It's going to be so bad. The card is not great, but maybe I'll do it. It's a 50-50 shot. Let's see what time the card actually comes on. Tell me. Angela Hill, Mackenzie Dern. I can't believe y'all are simping over these fighters. 7 p.m. main card start time. Diego Fajeda looks like he's been hanging out with Kron Gracie. Dude looks homeless. Yeah, maybe I'll do the main card. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But anyway, we can talk about all the news that broke this week. Francis Ngannou's mega deal with PFL to make him the highest paid heavyweight of all time in MMA. The BMF title, which is the video I'm going to put out here shortly. And also UFC 291, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, which is basically about the BMF title in general. So throw some questions in the chat. I'm probably going to do about 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'm out of here. So what's up, Fries? What's up, JJ Smoke? I was just about to watch your new video. Well, you're going to have another new video to watch soon. And then I got to make that Pereira video that I've been talking about. I have so many video ideas, but half the time I don't get a chance to make them all. What's up, Blaze One? Joey, do you know when Sharaputin Magomedov, the Dagestani one-eye debuted? No, we do not know that yet. You're a simp for Lupi Godinez? Fair enough. Gaethje Poirier card makes me happy. It makes me happy, but it makes me sad too. It makes me very happy, but it makes me very sad as well. It's just what a shit stain on the main event, to be quite honest. Very, very depressing. Very, very, very depressing. Looks like a homeless cat from PF Jenks. Maybe. You think Jan, with a win over Pereira, will get a title shot? He'll be very, very close. It depends where the division's at that point in time. Did Jamal Hill, Yuri Prohaska already happen? Did Magomed fight someone in the meantime? Is Adesanya moving up? I also still got to do, I talked about this like last week or the week before. I got to do a video about Dricus Du Plessis and how, you shouldn't want to see him fight for the belt. I mean, dude's a garbage can. And the title of that video is probably going to be Dricus Du Plessis is a fraud. And that one ought to get a lot of people going too. So that's another video I have in the bank. I kind of want to do a video about the UFC kind of closing the loophole that Ngannou used to get out of his contract because they want to further restrict these fighters. But I don't know if I'll get around to that too. But yeah, there's a lot that's happened this week. For being a shitty week in terms of MMA fights coming up, and the next month of MMA fights isn't particularly great. Damn, we got a lot of news this week. Unfortunately, the next month of fights are just dog shit. So I can't wait till UFC 290. I hate UFC 289 to be quite honest. Outside of the co-main, I hate UFC 289. But Alex KO Jan, I don't think so. DUI Tony is the new mythical fighter. Yeah, if he wins, DUI Tony's the new mythical fighter. Do you think Alex P wants Jan because he's the one guy that Izzy didn't beat? No. I think that's just who we got offered. Practice Islam is the new Jackson, am I? I see. Yeah. Greetings. What's up, Tiramisu? Jan is going to take him down and beat him up. Yeah, or KO him on the feet. Do you think Dana purposely had the big UFC 291 announcement on the same day as Francis' announcement? Yes, of course. And people are cheerleading that like that's some kind of cool move to act like a 13-year-old. Where's Ankalaev at? I would like to know as well. Where the hell is Ankalaev? He should be getting a fight soon, would be my guess. My guess is he will get the fight soon. Okay, X out of that. How do I get all these pop-ups? Oh my goodness. Okay. What the hell is going on here? Alright, now I gotta do this. Somehow Microsoft Edge is opened up and it won't close. So now I gotta do this. I gotta right click on it and hit close window. That's crazy. It flat out will not close. I'm gonna have to do the Control-Alt-Delete for the task manager. How is that even possible? Okay, so somehow now I just want to shut off my computer because Internet Explorer somehow opened itself up and will not close. It says I'm accessing sensitive info. Yeah, so I'm going to have to shut off my computer after this. That's annoying. But luckily I can still see my Google. Yeah, the task manager won't even open up. Now it will. Okay, when I got out of the screen. It's so annoying. I don't even know why Microsoft Edge is open. There we go. I finally got it to come up. Got rid of it. I don't know how it even opened. I don't even use Microsoft Edge. Or whatever the hell that is. Internet. Yeah, Microsoft Edge. Yeah, it was asking me a bunch of bullshit. But you get the point. I picked Jan's second round sub, arm triangle. He may very well. The deal between Francis and PFL is a good deal for Francis, but for PFL, 10 pay-per-view. It's a great deal for Francis, and we don't know how good of a deal it's going to be for PFL yet. Thoughts on Kennedy and Zekchu versus Dustin Jacoby for August 5th? Me personally, I got Kennedy winning. I would pick Kennedy probably, but I'm not high on either one of those guys. Yo, Joey, what's your opinion on the Oren, I forgot how to pronounce his last name, versus Gilbert Urbina preliminary card? I don't know, man. I really don't know. Gilbert Urbina is like, he's an okay fighter. He's not bad by any means. But like Oren, I forgot how to pronounce his name. I can't remember how to pronounce his last name. But he's coming off a win over Blood Diamond. You know, what does that really mean? A loss to Philip Bro. I think both these guys aren't particularly great fighters. I think it's a 50-50 fight. And I haven't rewatched their fights recently. But gun to my head, I'll go Gilbert Urbina. But I'll do a full breakdown. Not a full breakdown of prediction. I'll do a full card prediction on the Friday stream. So tomorrow, we'll go through the whole card. We'll go through the whole card. The deal between Francis, okay, read that. Who has a more of a chance to strike his Duplessis against Whitaker or Nate against Khamzat? Probably Nate against Khamzat. Joey, please tell me James Lynch doesn't actually think Colby deserves a title shot. He hasn't told me that. Low key, just delete Edge. Yeah, I don't even know if you can you delete Edge. You can probably uninstall it, right? His name is pronounced Orion, I believe. Yeah, I don't remember. Urbina is terrible, to be honest. Gregoric's brutally slapped him on Tough. Yeah, I saw his fights on Tough, but it's just like, I don't know. That's one of those ones that could go truly either way. Joey, I always hear that YouTubers get death treat from Dagestan fan. That ever happened to you? No. I've never got a death treat from anyone. You're honest, not sure if this is true or an excuse to hate Dagestan. I'm sure it probably happens. People online are weirdos. BMFs don't do charity work or community service. This is a bad matchup for BMF title because these guys ain't it. It's just stupid in general. It's a fake belt. It's a fake ass belt. The pleasure man on early tonight. I like it. Okay. Did Volk expose Islam? Nah, Islam exposed Volk in my opinion. Can you do a breakdown on Nate the Train versus Danny Gay? Okay. I'll do it when we get closer to the UFC 289. Does Aljo lose if he takes the O'Malley fight too soon? He should wait. He could. He could lose. Especially he's got to cut weight 3 months back to back. Quick turnaround. Joe, have you watched the McGregor doc? If not, do you plan to if you had time? No, I have not. I might, but probably not. Maybe, but maybe. I can't say never. I don't really care. Like, what's it going to be? It's going to be Conor McGregor excuse train. Sounds like what it's going to be to me. I was injured going into this fight and this and that, and I had a cracked shin and la la la. It's going to be a Conor McGregor propaganda piece, in my opinion. You have picked against Dagestani fighters and you have not been attacked? Okay. How was Volk exposed? He doesn't know how to get out of a body triangle, apparently. So there you go. There you go. He was exposed, brutally exposed. Alexander Volkanovski was brutally exposed by Islam Makhachev at UFC 284. That would have been a damn good video, too. Will you be watching Tough? No. I heard the McGregor doc is boring and repetitive. Dude, I already imagine what it is. It's Conor McGregor making excuses about why he lost the fights that he did and how he's going to come back stronger than ever. That's the way it is. Overlap 618. Thank you for the $9.99. 100 koala bears are coming together to fight a UFC fighter. Past or present, who is the UFC fighter you want to defend you? Also, assume the koala bears know it's on. I only get to choose one UFC fighter to defend me. Koala bears. They don't move particularly fast, do they? I will take who has absolutely no quit in them ever. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Maybe Dustin Poirier. I'll take Dustin Poirier to defend me from 100 koala bears. He'll just be punting. Actually, who has the best kicks in the game? I'll take Edson Barboza because them koala bears are low to the ground. I'll take Edson Barboza. He'll just be punting them bitches. Just punting them. Pop, pop, pop. Soccer kick, soccer kick, soccer kick. He'll just be kicking them 30 yards. And you'll hear a noise of death off of every kick. So I'll take Edson Barboza to defend me. McGregor did show that he injured himself in the lead up to the Dustin Trilogy and Habib fight. There you go. The fights he lost. What does Islam have to do number one pound for pound? I don't know. Apparently everything. But thank you for the $10 overlap. What a great donation question. Is Umar the savior of the division? I mean, the division's already good, but he could save us from Aljamain Sterling. He could very well save us from Aljamain Sterling. So, people who want to see soccer kicks should just watch World Star at this point. You know what I find funny? And I almost want to make a video about this. I keep seeing the people who hate the Dagestani fighters saying, legalize knees to a downed opponent. You know what Khabib and Islam would do to guys if they could knee them in the head when they had them on the ground? It would result in a lot more KOs from the Dagestanis. You taking Ige or Landwehr? I'm taking Ige probably. Thoughts on Brendan Allen? Overrated, but I also underrated him. But dude kind of reminds me of Malibu's Most Wanted. Everyone is injured going into fights. It's not an excuse exactly. Joe, what are you going to be streaming? What are you going streaming so early? Not that I'm opposed to pleasure in the afternoon. Yeah, you're in store for an afternoon delight. So that's what you're getting. He also had a hand injury in 2019, which I think he was supposed to fight Justin in 2019. That's why the fight didn't happen. Yeah, Conor's the king of excuses. He's never lost a fight that he didn't have a reason that he lost. He's never just cleanly lost a fight ever in his history of his career. To be fair, Khabib would be even more exciting. Dude, Khabib would brutally KO dudes with knees to ground opponent. He'd be finishing everyone that way. My mustache is already itching. People act like dominant grapplers won't just adjust and dominate. Yeah, and they'll be using the downward knees. My nose is itching like crazy already. I'm happy Francis is doing well, but I probably won't watch him anymore. Okay, then don't watch him. Was Nate ranked when he fought Conor the first time? I don't remember. I don't think so. But I think he might have snuck back into the rankings after he beat Michael Johnson. So he probably was. UFC rankings 2016. Let's see. Lightweight rankings. Let's see. They fought March of 2016. Let's go a little bit further. March 2016. That's crazy. Someone made a website just to store the rankings. Let's go February, late February 2016. Ish. Okay, March 7th, 2016. Nate Diaz was ranked number 5. Eddie Alvarez was number 1. Khabib was number 2. Anthony Pettis was number 3. Tony was number 4. Nate was number 5. Michael Johnson was number 6. So yes, he was ranked. Do you think Conor will challenge for the BMF belt? 100%. 100%. If Khabib just laid on guys for control time, he would have been boring, but he had ground and pound. Yeah, Khabib was one of the most exciting fighters I've ever seen in my entire 13 years of watching the sport. So I don't get that argument. For people to say Khabib was boring is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my entire life. One of the most. I think he's more exciting than Conor McGregor. The way he just ran at dudes, throwing combinations, looking to drag you to the ground, then he would have nonstop onslaught of ground and pound on the ground. It was crazy. No one's going to watch Francis anymore. He's going to sell like 20 pay-per-views. Well, we'll see. It doesn't matter if anyone's watching him or not for him. He's already getting paid. So, but we'll see. We'll see. It all depends on the opponent. And people saying, "Oh, I'm not watching a PFL pay-per-view. I'm not buying a PFL pay-per-view." You illegally stream every UFC pay-per-view anyway. Those same people saying that illegally stream every single UFC pay-per-view. I'm not buying a PFL pay-per-view. I did the math roughly. If Francis sells like 100K pay-per-view buys, depending on the opponent, depending on how the deal's structured, there's a lot of what ifs. There's a chance he makes more money than if he fought John Jones and sells 1 million pay-per-view buys. Based on financial disclosures the UFC let out of their pay-per-view revenue split structure with a fighter, if that is accurate to Francis Ngannou, to what they would have signed him to, which was like $1 after a certain amount of buys. People think it's some percentage of the pay-per-view. No, it's like $1 per buy over so many buys. It's like $2 per buy over so many buys. And based on that financial disclosure, I did the math. If Francis sells like 100,000 or 150,000, depending on the opponent and the split with the opponent, then essentially Francis would make more pay-per-view than a 1 million sale John Jones fight card. What do you think is up with Khamzat, Chimaev, visa issues, ducking? Dude, honestly, I want to make a video on this, but I don't have any evidence, and it's pissing me off. And I've been looking. I genuinely believe he is barred from entering the United States because he hangs out with a Chechen warlord. And I think he cannot get in the United States. It would be doubtful that he can get in other places like Australia. And I think because of that, the UFC has no option but to put him on the Abu Dhabi card, and that's why he's not fighting. Dude's hanging out with a warlord, a Chechen warlord, who's involved in the Russia war right now, okay? You don't think, any of the, like NATO nations have him on some type of watch list for being a close acquaintance with a literal warlord? That's my best guess. I don't have any evidence to support that. I want to make a video on it, but I don't have any evidence, and I don't like pure speculation. I like to have at least something to go off of. But I might make that video soon myself. And, it's one of those things where there's no other explanation. There's really, truly no other explanation. The only place he can fight is Abu Dhabi. And then Dana was asked about it. Can he enter the country? He's like, yeah, he's got personal issues. Yeah, his personal issues is he's butt buddies with a Chechen warlord. That's his personal issues. So that's what I think's going on. Also, what are your thoughts on Aljo being pressured to fight O'Malley? I said literally, I did a video the second they announced the fight within like 10 minutes. I said it wouldn't surprise me if this fight isn't even signed yet. It wouldn't shock me if Aljo versus O'Malley doesn't happen at UFC 292 and Dana and the MMA community turns on Aljamain Sterling more than they already are, because Dana and the UFC is trying to get Aljamain Sterling to lose that belt. That's what they're trying to do, because they're pressuring him into taking a fight as quick as possible. What's up, Joel Bell? Hope you're doing well. Do you think Khabib could out-wrestle Usman at 170? Out-wrestle is a strong word. I think it'd be competitive in the wrestling. I'll still watch Ngannou. I watch it all, even Jake Paul, Haney versus Lomachenko this weekend. The only thing I won't watch of Ngannou's, I'm not going to watch him box no matter who he's boxing. I don't care if he's boxing Tyson Fury. I don't care if he's boxing Hornswoggle. I don't care who he's boxing. Deontay Wilder. 99% sure I'm not watching that shit. He's going to get destroyed anyway. I have no desire to see it whatsoever. So if that happens, I'm not watching the freak show boxing angle at all. I've never been one to like that, and I'm not going to start now. Leon versus McGregor. Leon destroys him. Who do you think would win in their prime, Nate Diaz or Colby? Colby. Nate Diaz would get ragdolled by Colby, even in his prime. I think Alex wins the leg kick battle against Jan. Jan's calf was red and at least a few calf kicks away from being dead against Izzy. That's why he started to wrestle. I don't know. Jan's got very good calf kicks and very good checks as well. A new Mortal Kombat game got announced today, praying for a Boston Crab fatality. That'd be pretty sweet. Boston Crab fatality. I buy the pay-per-views, and I'd literally never buy a pay-per-view, PFL pay-per-view. So what if John Jones fought out his contract and he went over to PFL? Let's say he beats Stipe Miocic, he beats Sergey Pavlovich, and he refuses to re-sign with the UFC, fights out his contract. The UFC has a year of stalling, then John Jones is finally out of his contract, undefeated in the UFC heavyweight division. He goes over to PFL, and he signs to fight Francis Ngannou in the PFL. Would you buy the pay-per-view then? Because if not, you're just brand loyal, which I can't ever support that. I understand if you say, oh, I don't like this opponent, I'm not buying it. But just to flat out say, without even knowing an opponent, oh, I'm not buying a PFL pay-per-view. And I didn't buy that garbage PFL pay-per-view that was, last year or whatever it was. Whatever that horrible card was, I don't even remember what the main event is. But I can't say, oh, I won't buy this until I would know the actual main event, So someone else could end up getting out of their contract in the UFC. I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen. There might be something compelling. And if there is something compelling, I know I'll buy it if it's something compelling. If it's garbage, if it's a squash match, I'm not paying for it either. But we don't know yet. But I do think there's going to be other fighters that are going to try to follow suit and get out of their UFC contracts. UFC has already started changing their contracts back as of a couple months ago. They started changing to close the loophole that Francis Ngannou used to get out of his deal. And that's the problem, and people don't understand this, and they keep saying, Francis is greedy and this and that. Francis just wanted to get out of his contract. The UFC has very restrictive contracts, and they changed it because of the antitrust lawsuit back in 2017, and they changed it back then, and now Francis Ngannou used that, what they changed, to get a favorable ruling in the antitrust lawsuit. What they changed, now they changed back because Francis Ngannou used it, which is the sunset clause of 5 years. Now they have essentially layers upon layers added to that sunset clause where they can extend you and keep a fighter. They can keep a fighter under contract for 6, 7, 8 years by automatically extending them based on certain circumstances. I don't know how anyone thinks that's fair, you know? So we'll see what happens, but, you know, it's going to be hard for other fighters to try to follow suit. And I think an indirect outcome of Francis getting this deal from PFL, there will be other UFC fighters that re-sign with the UFC that get bigger paychecks because of it. Imagine Jailton Almeida fights out his deal at the UFC, right? Do you think the UFC is going to be petty enough where they're like, no matter what, we got to re-sign Jailton Almeida because we can't have him going over to the PFL and fighting Francis Ngannou and having a big fight there? Indirectly, based on pettiness from the UFC, they're going to have to pay their fighters more now because they're going to be like, we're not letting a single heavyweight. I mean, imagine if John Jones didn't just re-sign his contract. He probably signed like a 7-fight deal. But imagine he just didn't re-sign a big contract and he was fighting out his contract after his next fight. You don't think he would have massive leverage over the UFC? Because you couldn't say he can't go anywhere and fight anyone else. So it would be crazy. I think there's going to be some heavyweights that try to test it. I don't know which heavyweights that will be. And we'll see what happens. But I'm very curious to see how this plays out. People keep trying to already write the 30 for 30 documentary on a situation that we haven't seen fully flushed out yet. I'm very curious when we look back on this entire situation in 3, 4, 5 years. I'm curious how this situation, when you can look at the totality of it, I'm curious what it looks like. So, Yen is going to wrestle if I mean wrestle him. Can't stand the Khamzat Warlord situation. Unfortunately, he can't just distance himself. He'd probably be worried for his life. That's something I've always said as well. People always shit on these guys, and I'm not a fan of it. But people always shit on these guys. They got family over there. The last guy that was in Khamzat's position got murdered, died, disappeared, because for whatever reason, he must have crossed the guy. So it's not like Khamzat can just say, oh, I don't want anything to do with this guy anymore. You know, he's probably on a watch list. I tried to look it up because I wanted some evidence. I tried to look it up on like an FBI watch list. I couldn't find his name anywhere. But who's to know? Who's to know? I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to check it out, see if I can find it. You know, check out what the I'm gonna have to check with my contacts at the NSA and see if they can tell me if Khamzat's on a watch list. Wouldn't that be crazy if I could get that info? Francis could have fought Ryan Bader. I mean, that's not a great fight anyway. I'm surprised Usman, Gaethje, and Cejudo aren't getting flack. They have got a little bit of flack, which those are clowns because they don't even have family that lives over there. They're going to hang out with him for fun. It's good if this falls through because it makes more people hate Aljo and builds up an actual O'Malley fight. Dude, the UFC may strip Aljo if he doesn't take this fight. You don't watch boxing anyway, though? Exactly. Does Aljo deserve the hate? Partially, but not as much as he gets. And I've been a victim. I've been what is it? I've been a perpetrator of that myself. Well, obviously I buy it then, but that would never happen. You never know. You can't ever say never. People would have said Francis Ngannou is never going to be the highest paid heavyweight ever in MMA history, not in the UFC, and that happened. You've been doing a lot of content. Love it. Yeah, I have another video coming out the second this stream ends. The real reason the BMF belt is on the line at UFC 291, which I absolutely hate. And I went live. I actually put a picture in the video I took myself. So, I went live to UFC 244. I hated it then. I hate it now. Only UFC fighter I'd care to watch box is Poirier because he'd actually beat... I wouldn't care to watch either. And I'm not sure he would actually do that well. I don't think he deserves it, but GSP got hate for being boring and Aljo's similar in entertainment value. I don't think GSP got as much, though. Detective Joey, is there a CIA watch list? There's always, what's 30 for 30 documentaries? It's like what ESPN does. Look on ESPN Plus. They have a bunch of 30 for 30s, and it's these like really good, well-produced documentaries on different athletes. Joe, you are a freaking legend, man. Keep it up, homie. Thank you, Benji. I appreciate you. UFC bought off WEC, and I said WECW. WEC and Strikeforce because of views. Those promotions were getting cut. You know what would be the pettiest thing the UFC could do? There's rumors that PFL is trying to build up their company and then sell it off to the next investor. What if the UFC bought PFL and then cut Francis Ngannou immediately? Wouldn't that be petty as hell? Wouldn't shock me though. I respect Francis and love that you defend him, but let's move on. Most of us only watch the UFC. Well, that's fine, but if you just watch the UFC, you can go watch another channel. You can go back to my early videos. I did videos on One Championship. I did videos on Bellator. I do watch-alongs for all those as well, even crappy cards from Bellator. I'm an MMA fan as a whole. And the UFC does a good job at promoting themselves and, standing out as the best organization and whatnot. But for me, there is gems. For years, if I would have had a YouTube channel, I've been talking about how good Michael Chandler is, and that he was a UFC caliber fighter when he was in Bellator. Nobody really talked about him back then. The second he got signed with the UFC, started putting on fights. Now everyone loves Michael Chandler. Eddie Alvarez, same thing. I said Eddie Alvarez could be champion in the UFC one day. Sure enough, and I actually placed a bet with one of my buddies who was watching back then. I bet on Eddie Alvarez to win the belt, and I beat him. I think we bet like $50, something like that. And he went out there and swarmed RDA and finished him. I've been a victim of hating Aljo too, Joey. Don't worry. Yeah, that's very true. That'd be petty AF and the ultimate troll job by Dana if he did. Yeah, and the people who hate Francis Ngannou and didn't want to see him succeed, they'd be cheerleading. They'd be cheerleading that type of behavior. Thank you very much for calling out Colby fans. No one else does it. Dude, there's really not even that many Colby fans, to be honest. People act like he's a draw. He sold under 400,000 pay-per-views against Jorge Masvidal, who's a bigger draw than him. So he's doing close. He's doing in the same stratosphere as Aljamain Sterling, Henry Cejudo. That's how big of a draw Colby Covington is. If UFC did tournaments like Bellator's, top guys would avoid fighters. Yeah, tournaments, I don't like tournaments because people just get injured, so they never work out. I think the dictator calls Ali and tells him, get Usman and Gaethje there. If Ali says no, all Russian fighters call Ali and say, no, we leaving you. Okay. Just finished hitting the studio. What's up, Joey? What's up, Andy? What's up, Andy? I just want to remind you that I'm 6'3", so just so you know. I knew about UFC since 2019, but I really started to pay attention around UFC 251. And the first event I ever watched live was UFC 262 on pay-per-view. That is craziness. I remember UFC 151. Does anyone, without Googling it, does anyone know what UFC 151 was? Does anybody know? Without Googling it. I know there's going to be some fucking clown in the chat that Googles it. But without Googling it, does anybody know? Quick. Going once, going twice. I know exactly what it is. I don't need to Google it. I'm guessing it's a Chael pay-per-view. Nope. It was Johnny Bones Jones versus Dan Henderson. JJ Smoke went and Googled it. It's the event that never happened. UFC 151 does not exist because it never happened. But it was originally John Jones versus Dan Henderson. Dan Henderson got injured, pulled out of the card. The UFC and Dana White slandered John Jones into oblivion. The first event I watched live was UFC 114. UFC 151 was Colby's last ranked win. Colby doesn't have a single ranked win over someone on the top 15 currently. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. I can't wait to release this new video. I can't believe we've already been on here for 35 minutes. I'm watching from the Particle Accelerator right now. Fair enough. I posted on Instagram the video of me calling Kevin Lee versus Renat Fakhretdinov. If anybody cares to check that out. Somebody said, I think Joey's just from the future, but he purposely gets some picks wrong so we don't catch on to him. Which I thought was funny. Joey, the average age of Colby's opponent is 40. The guy under 40 he lost to. Makes sense to me. Sounds about right. A daylight MMA Joey stream. I'm not prepared for this level of pleasure at this hour of the day. An afternoon delight. An afternoon delight. UFC 7.5? What are you talking about? Joey didn't fumble the bag? Yeah, I never fumbled a bag. I never fumbled a bag at all. You'll never see me out there fumbling the bag. Joey, I'm predicting Renat embarrasses Kevin Lee. What about you? I'm with you. I think TKO finish. But it's weird. Kevin Lee's super inconsistent. Kevin Lee is super inconsistent. So he could come in and look like a world beater. It's hard to say. It is hard to say. So we will find out. I think the Motown mows him down. I disagree wholeheartedly. That's not happening. There's no way. But maybe. We'll see. He brutally finished the corpse of Gregor Gillespie. So, when fighters are inconsistent like this, that tells me they aren't disciplined enough in the sport. Maybe. I'm just joking. Kevin Lee gets starched. They brought Kevin Lee back to build someone else's name off of. Because Ali Abdelaziz was probably rim jobbing Dana in the back and say, I really like to get Kevin Lee back on the organization. I started paying attention to the UFC main event at least since 267 Yan versus Glover. That's crazy. That's crazy that you only been watching for that short period of time. It's crazy to me how many new fans there are of the sport. What made you attracted to UFC 267? The free card. Is that why? Hopefully Kevin Lee looks as good as Chase Sherman. Yeah, I was hoping so. If Kevin Lee looks good enough, we might have to skip him right to a title shot like Dricus Du Plessis. If Kevin Lee wants any chance to win, he's going to have to consult Clay Guida and the boys about that one. Yeah. I think he's definitely going to have to consult with Clay Guida and the boys. Chop it up with Clay Guida and his boys if he wants to win that belt. Or win that fight against Renat. How does James compare Umar fighting a ranked guy to Colby skipping the line for title shot? I have no idea. To me, it's comparing apples to oranges. It's comparing apples to oranges. It's not even the proper comparison. Dude, when I was little, I watched a movie Vacation, and there was a rim job joke in there. I was like, what the F is a rim job? Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I did not know that. What's up with this Clay Guida joke? I missed the reference. I don't know. We're just talking about we wouldn't want to kick it with Clay Guida and his boys. So that's the new joke of the channel now. We have like 75 inside jokes. You got to start writing a book of all the inside jokes of the channel. The point is, if I got a free Friday or Saturday night, if I got a choice between a doctor's appointment, a dentist appointment, mowing my lawn, weed eating my lawn, or chopping it up with Clay Guida and his boys, that's last on the list. I wouldn't want to chop it up with Clay Guida and his boys. I wouldn't want to kick it with Clay Guida and his boys. So, yeah, I'd rather jump in a wood chipper than kick it with Clay Guida and his boys. I actually have them all written down, no joke. Dude, you're going to love this newest video. There's like 17 inside jokes in the video. I'll tell you, there's one joke in the video that I forgot about that if you're taking a drink when I say it, you might literally spit your water out. I want to tell you what it is so badly, but then it'll ruin it. It'll ruin it. But there's one joke in that video that I'm going to release at the end of this stream that will literally make you spit your water out if you were taking a drink. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. So you guys will see it very shortly. Let me see something real quick. The BMF video I made is 19 minutes long. 19 minutes long. And it's a damn good thumbnail. Let me pull up this thumbnail right quick. I'll show you guys. If you're in the Discord, you've already seen the thumbnail. I'll take a picture of it real quick. Hold on. You know what? I can just bring the picture up on the screen. I forgot. I'm an idiot. Studio mode. Image, browse. There you go. That's the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail, right? That's a pretty damn good thumbnail if you ask me. That is a pretty damn good thumbnail if you ask me. What do you guys think of the thumbnail? Let me know. That's going to be the thumbnail of the new video coming out at the end of the stream. So, there you go. I showed it to you. Little sneak peek. If you're in the Discord, you get a bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff. I record partial clips of my videos and send them in the Discord all the time. So, you know, if you want to join the Discord, link is in the description. MMA Joey, a.k.a. Snow Leopard. I'd rather do yard work. Agreed. I would kick it with Jan and his polar bears. Okay. Lamau, what's up, alls? Make some noise if you are ready. I'm now excited. Yeah, there's a good one. You'll know exactly which one I'm talking about, but there's a couple ones that are going to make you laugh out loud, I think. I was introduced to the UFC by Khabib versus McGregor. Since the brawl, the #1 on trending, little by little, I paid more attention. And for whatever reason, 267 is when I started watching all the cards. Makes sense. Not long. End the stream, not long enough. Farting out of the blue corner. I did not throw that joke in there. But I wish I would have. And you guys are going to love the video. I'm telling you right now. It was one of my favorite videos to do. What's the video you're releasing about the stream? The BMF belt, how it's ruining UFC 291. Joey, thanks for hopping on. I'm glad I could come early. Yeah. I'm glad you could come early as well. I'm glad you could. The card that introduced me to the UFC was Jones Santos. That's crazy. That's crazy. Pause, yeah. He meant that. He meant that like that. He meant to make that dirty joke. I hope you guys go watch my main card picks for UFC Vegas 73. It's doing horrible in terms of views, and I knew it would. But I need you guys to go check it out. If that doesn't get over 1,000, it's already picked up a couple subscribers, which is crazy to me. But if you guys don't check that one out, you're letting me down because I didn't want to have a video that did under 1,000 views. And that's going to do garbage views. And that's why I hated doing it. But I haven't missed a prediction video for at least one main event since I've started the channel. Thoughts on UFC sponsorship with Prime? I don't really have any thoughts on it. Joe, have you ever played the Borderlands game series? No. If you were a pro fighter and the cornerman was removed last second for whatever reasons and replaced by Quigley and his boys, are you still fighting? No, I would just have no corner. Joe, I'm going to be straight up. Your UFC 73 main card picks is the first video I've ever saw on my timeline and skipped it. But I'll go back and watch tonight. Yeah, worst case scenario, just play it and just let it play all the way through and just don't listen to it if you don't want to. It pained me to do it. But it's not a bad card, but it just sucks. The main event sucks ass. So I don't necessarily blame you. I just did a stock UFC poster thumbnail too. I wanted to skip it, but I didn't have it in me. I've never missed a prediction for a main event since I started the channel. Can you name another fan base that lies about their guy being a draw like Colby? It's so weird. No. Not one. Not one I can think of off the top of my head. Not one I can think of off the top of my head. Buckley is my main event. Buckley versus Andre Fialho is a very good fight. Favorite MMA fighter outside the UFC? Favorite MMA fighters outside of the UFC? I do like Usman Nurmagomedov. I do like Patricio Pitbull. I always mix up which one's which. Whichever one's the featherweight one. One of the Pitbull brothers. Love watching him fight. I guess you could say Francis Ngannou now because he fights super crazy and exciting. How can you not enjoy that? I'm trying to think of some more. Who is someone I always have to tune in for? Yoel Romero, which he's kind of on the decline now. But, you know, that's to be expected at his age. AJ McKee, I do enjoy watching as well. Yeah, there you go. I named a bunch. What camera are you using for YouTube? Keep up the content. Man, I will keep up the content. I use the Sony A6400 with a Sigma 1.4 lens. I don't make any money off of this at all. There's no money involved, but people have asked me this before. I have links to all my YouTube gear in the description. I do not make any money off of that. I don't make a dime off of that. That's just links that I literally just placed there from Amazon for people if anyone wanted to find anything that I'm using, because I know when I was trying to figure out what camera I wanted to buy, I took a lot of research. And what I like to do was I like to just go find videos that I thought really looked really nice. And I was like, okay, what camera do they use? So I put that in there. That's personal to me. That's personal to me. Joe, do you think Poirier and Gaethje and Chandler are bigger? Do you think Poirier, Gaethje, and Chandler are bigger than Colby? Yes. Definitely Poirier is. Gaethje and Chandler are probably similar. Which one dropped Michael Chandler? What do you mean, which one? Gaethje dropped Chandler with an uppercut. Did Poirier drop Chandler? I don't remember. Which chain restaurant has the best steak? I don't know. I like Ruth Chris steak. What about Patchy Mix? I mean, I wouldn't say he's one of my favorite, but he's a very good fighter. Me and some buddies got some tickets to see Bellator Yo versus Nemkov in Chicago in June. My first live event ever. Very excited. That's awesome. That is awesome, dude. I'll have to go. You know what's crazy? Apparently, even if you have a small YouTube channel, you can get media credentials for some of the Bellator events. That's at least what I've been told, because they like people to cover their events, even if you have a small following. Dude, maybe I need to try to see if Bellator give me some media credentials. Ruth's Chris is expensive. Yeah, it's pretty expensive. I go there a couple times a year. It's pretty good. I get the massive tomahawk steak. It's like $100 just for the steak, but it's really good. It's worth it every time. Here, hold on. I got a picture of it. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's the last time I went. Look at this beauty. Look at this absolute beauty here. Let's see if it focuses. Look at that beauty. You think if Conor KOs Chandler, he will be challenged for the BMF belt? Yes, 100%. Everyone has dropped Chandler, even Tony. That is true. How many ounces? I don't remember. 30-some, I think, or 20-some. But yeah, Chandler's chin. Chandler's going to be one of those guys that might be brain dead when he gets older, which is really sad and unfortunate. Joey gets his steak well done. No, I don't. I get it medium or medium rare. One or the other. Usually medium. Some places that overcook. I don't mind medium rare, but some places always overcook it, so I'll order it medium rare, and then it ends up being medium anyway. Just one grown man showing dozens of other grown men a picture of his meat. Exactly. His half raw meat. Yeah, but Conor McGregor's definitely going to be challenged for the BMF belt. I might have mentioned that in my video as well. I may or may not have mentioned that in my video as well. Went to UFC Charlotte Saturday. Haven't been able to enjoy any other sport since. Nothing like it. Dude, I hope you had a good time. Do you know anyone that gets it rare? No. If you do, you're a weirdo. You like just one. If I knew another grown man that's getting their meat rare, they like their meat rare. Like, yeah, let me get that raw meat in my mouth. It's really going to pleasure me and finish me. Fill me up. Fill me up with that raw meat. Yeah. Now, I don't know anyone that likes a rare steak, because if I did, if I'm friends with a grown man that says, yeah, I like getting filled up with raw meat. I'm like, nah. Now, I prefer medium. I'm out of here. Bro said I'm out of here. Do you think Islam would finish Conor faster than Khabib did? I will say yes. I think Conor's past his prime. And I don't think he cares about the sport anymore. I don't think he has that motivation and drive. Hey, yo. I think it's called a Freudian slip. Yeah, I don't know. They're using BMF for Conor to sign a fight with Chandler? Maybe. Joey, do you like your steak medium well? No. How many times did I say it? I just like it medium. I like it medium. And I'm talking about the doneness of my steak, all right? Because I know you like your meat extra large, Derek. I would love to see Islam versus Conor. It'd be a huge fight. Hey, Joey, who are the top 5 biggest draws in the UFC right now? Conor, Jones, Adesanya, And that's it. That's it right now. I'm going to have to go back and watch that clip later. I'm not going to watch it right now. Joe, I appreciate that pic of your meat. I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Yep. And the best thing about that picture of my meat I showed you, it was a lot like your head. The top of your head, there was no hair on it at all. It was perfect. I once served a guy an extra rare steak. Ew. Ew, ew, ew. Who would eat a rare steak? Who would eat a well-done steak? Anybody eats a well-done steak is dead to me. It's like eating, like, burnt burgers. I'd put Connor Jones, Adesanya, Dustin, Islam. There you go. I would agree. I would agree with that assessment, my friend. I would agree with it. You eat medium well? Medium well isn't terrible. I've got, like, if I'm not super particular, I'll eat it anywhere from medium rare to medium well, but I like it like around medium rare, medium well. Or not medium well. Medium rare to medium. But, like, I'm not so picky that, like, if they bring it out and it's, like, overcooked, like, to medium well, I'm not like, oh, God, I got to send it back. I'm disappointed, but it's just not worth the trouble of sending it back, you know? As long as the meat's juicy, as long as the meat's not completely raw, it's only halfway raw, and it's juicy, I'll fill myself up with it. If I trust the place, I may do medium. Yeah, when I go to Ruth Chris, I do medium. Joey, check out the clip. I'll check it out after the stream. I don't have my headphones plugged up. You want a steak right now? Oh, okay. I've never heard of that type of steak. That's a wooden steak, I think is how you spell that. If BMF Belt was defended, it would be kind of... No, it wouldn't be okay if it got defended. That'd be even worse. And I talk about it in my video that I'm going to release at the end of the stream. We'll probably go a full hour, and then we'll be done with it. And then I'll be out of here. So... A1 sauce, generic. Yeah, I don't eat steak sauce. I'll eat some Tabasco, like very little tiny bit. Like I'll put a little bit of Tabasco on my plate and just put a tiny bit on my steak. But not for all bites. Pause. Did you actually ever have to send something back to the restaurant in the kitchen at any point? Yes, dude. One time I went and I got steak and they brought it out. It was supposed to be medium. They brought it out well done, right? And I sent it back. They cooked it more and brought it back to me. And no, hold on. Let me refrain this whole entire story. I ordered my steak medium. They brought it out. It was well done. I cut it open, and as I'm cutting it open, the manager came over and said, "Oh, you know how the managers sometimes walk around at restaurants? I said, oh, is everything okay?" The manager came over. I said, and they said, "Is everything okay?" I said, "This steak was supposed to be medium. It's well done." And she looked at me, and it's kind of dimly lit in there. She's like, "No, that's medium." I was like, no, this is well done. This is supposed to be medium. She said, "No, that's medium." To the point, she was so convincing, I started wondering, like, am I smoking crack? And I only had it cut like 25%. Like I didn't cut it completely apart yet. And like I cut the meat and then just spread it open. And so she's like, "No, that's medium." So I cut it all the way in half and I forked it and held it up because the light was hanging above the table, but it's dim in there. And it was clearly well done. And then she was like, "Oh, I am so sorry about that." Because she was like arguing with me, right? So anyway, I sent it back. I don't know what happened. They cooked it more and brought it back to me. They cooked it more and brought it back to me. And I was like, I don't know. I just take it on my check. Everyone else is done eating. I'm just going home. I don't want this shit. I don't want this shit. And one time, this was like 2 years ago maybe. One time I ordered food from that same place and I got takeout. Every single part of the order was wrong. There was 3 people. Every part of the order was wrong. The food was overcooked. I didn't even eat my food. The food was horrible. It was overcooked. It was crazy. Right? Everything was wrong. It was missing items. Everything that we actually got was overcooked. There was almost nothing edible. It's not like we ate the meal anyway and whatever. I called them up and said, "Look, I still got all the food. I can't come back right now, but I want a refund." They said, "Oh, call back tomorrow. Call back tomorrow. We're really busy, whatever." And I called back the next day and said, "Hey, they told me to call back. I have this food. I can still bring it back if you want, but they told me they're going to give me a refund." They're, "Oh, just take a couple pictures. You can throw it away. There's no need to bring it back. Blah, blah, blah." And I was missing half the items that I was supposed to get anyway. This was an order for like 4 people, 5 people. And so then anyway, the third day, they told me to call back again. The third day, I kindly call back. And it's just principle. I mean, the order was like $70. Not the end of the world, but still, that's $70 they took out of my pocket. I paid for the order. And third day, I called them up. Still being, I'll call back. We're waiting for a manager, blah, 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 blah. I literally went, I paid with everything with a credit card. I went on my credit card. I disputed the charge. I submitted pictures. And I literally said something like half of my order was missing, because you have to choose something when you dispute a charge on your credit card, and then you have to fill in details. And I put like I didn't receive the product that I paid for. Half the food was missing, and then the food I got was not for human consumption. And I put all the pictures of it in there. It looked nasty as hell, overcooked. And so luckily Capital One just gave me my $70 back. They just gave me my $70 back. So it was a horrible experience, and I haven't been back there since, I don't think. But yeah, there you go. That's a true story right there. I may even still have the pictures. I'm trying to remember when that was. I think it was in 2020. Let me take a look. It'd have been like May of 2020. I don't know if I saved those pictures. I don't really tend to delete pictures, but I might have just deleted pictures of ugly ass steak that were on my phone and ugly ass chicken that was on my phone. Maybe it was in 2021. I don't think so. But yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. I wonder if I can go find that dispute on my card. I read a lengthy paragraph about how horrible it was as well. Ruth Chris accidentally charged my friend $900. I was with him when it happened. That's crazy. When I bought my furniture for my house, you're not going to believe this. When I bought my furniture for my house, I tried to pay on my bank card. It was like $5,500 or something. I tried to pay on my bank card. My bank card got declined, okay? And I called up my bank right then and there, and I said, what's going on here? I'm trying to buy this. They said, you can only spend up until this amount, right? They said, you can only, I don't remember what the number was, but you can only spend $3,000. It's locked. We can't unlock it right now. I'm like, wait a second. So you're telling me I can't use my own bank card to buy anything? I ended up closing out that bank account like a month later because I thought it was ridiculous. I was like, wait, so you're telling me I have cash in my bank account that I can't use because you guys won't allow it? Because I understand that they declined it initially because they thought maybe it was fraud. Well, anyway, they said you can only put up to this amount. So I said, okay. So I paid $3,000. I think whatever the number was, I think it was like $3,000. I paid $3,000 with that card, right? And I said, charge that $3,000 and charge the rest of it on here. Well, what they did was they charged that $3,000, and then when I gave them my credit card, they charged $5,500. So instead of paying $5,500, I paid $8,500 because they messed up the charge, and they charged me essentially twice. They charged me $3,000, the limit that I wanted for the one card, and then they charged me for the entire order on my credit card. And so it was just an absolute debacle. It wasn't that big of a deal, but it was like just super annoying. And I almost just ended up canceling the whole order because it was such a debacle. But it ended up working out all right. The dark side of the force is pathway to many abilities. Okay. Joey, should McGregor versus Chandler be for the interim BMF belt? Yes. Yeah, that's what's coming up next. Interim BMF belt. I wish I would have said that in my video. All right, guys, listen. I'm going to get out of here, but I'm going to release this video, but you guys are going to be the first to see it. It is right now, interim BMF. I got to tweet that out. That's a good one, Derek. I got to tweet that out. Like, next thing you know, it's going to be an interim BMF belt on the line for Chandler versus McGregor. Listen, I'm going to get out of here. We went an hour. I'm going to release my video for the BMF belt, but I'm going to post it to you guys first. So you guys are the first that can get to see it. I'm going to post the link in the chat. And you guys, do me a favor. You're the first to see it. It's not even released yet. And I want you to go watch it all the way to its completion, okay? You get plenty of pleasure from it if you watch it till its completion. I want you to like it, and I want you to comment on it as well. So I would greatly appreciate it. Here is the link. You guys need to go watch it, like it, comment on it. There is the new video. the BMF video, the real reason the UFC put the BMF belt on the line at UFC 291. Link is in the chat. Don't forget to like this stream before you go. Don't forget to make sure you subscribe to the channel before you go. And that pretty much wraps this up. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Hopefully I have an Alex Pereira video for you guys tomorrow. And who knows what's liable to pop up between now and then. Appreciate every single one of you. Good night and goodbye. Go watch the video. Link is in the chat.